we've got just an absolute double pleasure here. Bill Moffitt with NavWorx. Bill, this week is all about ADS-B. I mean, the four little letters that just own our souls.
Yeah.
And you're a double threat in this area because you're not only building for the certified market, but for the experimental market, which has some real advantages for the moment, being able to deal with the upcoming mandates.
Right.
First of all, let's talk about your product line. Describe what you have at this point, and most important, just where the whole industry stands, where your company stands in regards to addressing the ADS-B situation.
Sure, so we have right now today 4 products. We have 2 transceivers, 1 receiver, and those are for certified aircraft. And then we have 1 transceiver for the experimental light sport market.
All righty. Now, let's talk first about the experimental side of things. There's been some interpretations, some reinterpretations and such. For the experimental flyer right now, the fellows flying amateur build experimental and the like, what does the current regulatory environment envision for him, and how are you addressing his needs? Well, his or her needs, let's be politically correct here.
Their needs, you're right.
Yes.
Sure. So the FAA made an amendment to the rule where they added the word performance, which pretty much stirred up the pot, if you will. We already had a certified transceiver, so we took that design and cost contained it. We removed all the options and made our ATX100 EXP experimental light sport transceiver. That fully complies with the 2020 mandate, but can only be used in experimental light sport aircraft.
Okay. Are you finding that the experimental community is aware of what their requirements really are at this stage, or is there still a fair amount of confusion?
Most of them are. A lot of them are doubting the performance capability being a non-TSO box. The irony, of course, is that the amendment to the rule, the FAA in essence created a non-TSO'd box, if you will. So that's where we're at. But they're finding out through the forums and through calling us that the EXP product does indeed meet the mandate.
Outstanding. Let's go to certified for a moment. What questions are you hearing that represent the most confused, if we will, but where is the confusion currently reign in regards to certified ADS-B installations and equipment?
The confusion really is an understanding of where the market is. A lot of folks, you know, we get secondhand information, and then of course there's a lot of publications out there still who are negative on ADS-B in general, so the articles are slanted negatively. So their concerns primarily is, well, when is the price going to stop falling so that I can, you know, realistically buy something and I don't feel I'm being ripped off? And that's the confusion right now. Other than that, ADS-B is well known. That what they have to have in their airplane come 2020 is well understood.
Well, you've got an aggressively priced product line. Would you say that we've seen the bottom end of this market at this point? Is it bottomed out?
Yes. Not only is our prices at the bottom, but so is some of our competitors, and they've recently stated as such.
Well, let me ask you this. Where do you come from in all this? Explain how NavWorx came to be and some of the road that you've traveled, and then we'll segue from there into where you're going to go from here.
Sure. So I'm a private pilot. I've been flying since the age of 17 or so, when my brother bought a 42 T-craft.
Oh,
and
right.
I enjoyed.
Great birds.
Love that. No flaps. It was pretty interesting landing in the fields.
Slip,
but anyway,
slip.
Flip. So I enjoy flying. My wife also flies. And
we you're a lucky man.
Yeah, very lucky. She at first didn't want to fly, but I finally convinced her to fly.
There you go.
So we have an airplane now. We travel in it for both business and pleasure. And there came a point in our lives where we were looking to do something. And we turned our attention from, we were both in the telecom industry, and we looked to do something else, and now that something else was in the aviation avionics industry. It was something I've always wanted to do since I was in the Air Force as an avionics technician was to build and certify a comm radio. Well, I didn't get to that point. I instead veered off and did an ADS-B box. So we're here basically to hopefully help our fellow pilots get into ADS-B at a low cost point.
Well, here's the big question. What does NavWorx uniquely bring to this market? Why, when you're up against the 600-pound gorillas and the 400-pound gorillas, and even a couple of 250-pound gorillas that are on weight loss programs. Right. What do you bring to the mix? Why are you here?
Well, what we bring to the mix is, although we're a for-profit company, we don't have a return on investment that some of the, I refer to them as 9,000-pound gorillas.
I've seen a few of those.
So we don't have to bring home all the profits that they do. So we can sell our product a little bit less. Along with, we got in very early. By getting in earlier, we were able to secure a pending patent on our Transmon SPE device. That's short for Transponder Monitor Single Point of Entry. So all of our other competitors have a control head, and a control head being mounted in the instrument panel adds a lot of cost. It adds a lot of cost to manufacture the control head. It adds a lot of cost to install the control head, on top of the fact that first you have to find available panel space, and then as a pilot, the question is, do you really want to deal with two control panels, one for a transponder, one for an ADS-B box? So our Transmon allows the aircraft to pick up off the existing transponder and altitude encoder the Mode A and Mode C information, and provide that to the ADS-B outbox, which is a requirement of ADS-B from the FAA. So in combination with that Transmon and our box, which is a remote box, it results in a very simple and low-cost installation.
Outstanding. I would imagine the path to engineering, design, manufacture, and certification has got to be at times kind of brutal. How'd you weather that?
We weathered it. It was probably the biggest challenge in our life as engineers and managers and owners of businesses.
Those are big words from a married man.
I tell you, we were both previously in telecom, and telecom, of course, has the same somewhat same federal regulatory requirements, but it's done entirely different. It's done in a competitive model as opposed to this archaic system that the FAA has. I would vote, if I could vote today, to get rid of most of the FAA and redo the FAA so that we maintain the safety, but get rid of the archaic procedures that they have in place. I'd vote in a heartbeat for that.
Well, speaking of that, if you don't mind my segueing a little bit, one of the questions we've been asking a number of people in the industry, and we've seen some inroads by organizations like ASTM to provide consensus standards in lieu of the FAA. Now, in the case of the most well-known aspect of that, LSA, for a long time it went very, very well when the industry is left alone. Now that the FAA is sticking their nose into that too, LSA is getting more and more complex by the day. But is it your opinion, based on what you know and the people you work with out there, that an ASTM or equivalent standard is a workable solution for a lot of our certification woes?
I believe so, yes. No doubt.
Excuse me. Sorry. Still working this cough, folks. It seems to me, especially with the FAA's constant woes, don't have enough money, don't have enough resources, don't have enough manpower, that they would welcome this with open arms, and yet they're fighting the concept tooth and nail. It's such a shame.
It is. And the U.S. taxpayer spends a lot of money on the FAA. And there's a lot of money from just the people I've met in the certification and manufacturing offices, and it could be done with this equivalent or better safety at a lot less cost to the taxpayer, in my opinion.
Well, one of the remarkable things is under the ASTM standard, we certified quote-unquote certified over 100 new airplanes in the course of just a couple of years. What was the last group that contained 100 aircraft certifications? Yeah, it just says what you will from there.
Yep.
Okay, let's get on to more pleasant stuff. What's the future look like for NavWorx? Where are you going from here?
It looks great. We're now fully STC'd with our AML and adding a few aircraft that remain to put those on the AML. And we're out here today and this week at the AEA show to offer that to the dealers and explain how our system differs from our competitors, the advantages that it offers both the dealers and the pilot owners. And things are looking great so far.
I'm glad to hear it. What kind of feedback are you getting right now from most recent installs and programs?
Well, the last hour I've been here has been the same as earlier today and most of yesterday. And there's a certain point in time when the dealer, avionics shop owner or installer comes up to our booth, and we tell them what we have. You know, they get through the here's the product, it does this and it does that. But when we get to the transmon, their eyes open up, and they realize the cost effectiveness of that and what it means for them as far as getting more aircraft through their shop in a given week, and they like what they see.
Outstanding. What's interesting, I overheard a remark the other day when your name came up, and the way you were differentiated was somebody saying, "Oh, those are the guys with the transmon." So
right.
It's working.
It is.
Keep messaging.
Exactly. Yep.
There you go. Outstanding. We have a number of people from the experimental community who insist on doing everything all by themselves. What advice do you give to the person who's building, rebuilding, or installing your equipment, hopefully, in their airplane from the standpoint of their responsibilities as the owner, builder, maintainer of an aircraft, who all of a sudden has become an avionics technician?
Well, my sole advice to experimental builders, and I've built 1.5 experimentals in my lifetime, is to use the resources that you have out there for your fellow experimental owners and pilots. Get on the forums, your type of aircraft forum. Ask the questions, because obviously there's been someone that's been before you. And if you don't understand or you find it difficult to do certain aspects of an aviation or an avionics installation, seek out help. Okay,
very good. Sounds like sage advice to us. Bill, I can't thank you enough for being here with us here on Aero-TV. We'll be stopping by a little bit later on and take a little bit closer look. Sure. And I've got a couple of questions of my own on some projects we're working on, so we're going to probably have to do business down the line.
All right, very good.
Bill Moffitt from NavWorx.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 58th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Dallas, Texas, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B, ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Avidyne provides innovative avionics solutions for general aviation aircraft, including the IFD-540 and IFD-440 FMS GPS navcoms with geofill, hybrid touch, and full ADS-B capability.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, navcom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
The IntelliFlight 2100 digital flight control system is the perfect complement to today's integrated flight decks and is certified on the King Air and Conquest. It will now interface to a single EFIS and a mid-continent SAM 302 unit for a low-cost complete panel upgrade. Contact us at www.genesis-aerosystems.com.
An interactive links application is available in the Apple and Android app stores. This free app is a virtual simulation of the Lynx NGT 9000 touchscreen cockpit display that lets pilots interact with the unit as if they had a real system in their hands. The app covers the entire Lynx family of ADS-B products, including features and options to help customers decide which Lynx model is right for their needs.
True Blue Power advanced lithium-ion main-chip batteries feature proprietary nanophosphate technology. They deliver 3 times the energy density and are more than 40% lighter than lead-acid or NiCad alternatives. RTCA tested, FAA certified, available to OEMs today. NavWorx makes ADS-B affordable. Certified or experimental, NavWorx gives you high-quality next-gen avionics solutions that dramatically increase your situational awareness. Check us out now on the web at www.navworx.com.
The debate is no longer about upgrading GA aircraft with NextGen, it's about financing it. The NextGen GA Fund is about doing just that. Find out more at www.nextgenfund.com.